Hello everyone and welcome to another action figure review. We have another Tamashii Nations Bandai SH Figuarts, and it's the fifth member from the original 6 for the Endgame line. It is Hulk, Professor Hulk, Quantum Suit Hulk, whatever name you want to call him. He has finally arrived this October and he follows Black Widow, Captain America, Iron Man and Hawkeye. So now we're just waiting for the 4. And it is a pretty big box, which is what I expected for Incredible Hulk. Definitely bigger than the Black Widow one, which is the smallest size for SH Figuarts boxes. It is taller than the Captain America one, but not as wide, obviously. So it's on the same scale as the Thanos one, although the Thanos one you could say is slightly wider and taller, but both mega boxes. Talking about the box, this is the standard Avengers Endgame design with this white color, which is kind of trying to represent the quantum suit, which I think matches really well for Hulk because he is of course in the quantum suit. And I actually prefer the older SH Figuarts boxes designs, like the Infinity War ones. And for example here I have the Tony Stark one for Iron Man 3. You can see that it's more colorful, there's photos of the characters. It's just something I prefer more, but for Avengers Endgame they've just gone for something really simple. And we're first going to take a look at the box, and you can see it's the usual logos: Marvel Avengers Endgame, Tamashii Nations Bandai. On the side we have SH Figuarts Hulk, the Tamashii Nations stickers. On the other side, Avengers logo, SH Figuarts Hulk. Same at the top, Hulk SH Figuarts. At the bottom we have some detail and a photo. And then on the back we have the figure in different poses. So now we can open the box and take a look inside. So inside we have the silver shiny background. We have the manual to show you how to put on the accessory parts. And then some sort of survey sheet. Put those to the side. And here is the action figure inside its packaging, the overall look of Professor Hulk. So here is the overall look of the Hulk action figure. So as well as the figure, these are the accessory parts included outside of its packaging. So here is the action figure outside of its packaging. So this is the Professor Hulk, the one in the quantum suit. It is pretty much what I expected. Very detailed, pretty solid as an action figure. And it does measure around 18 centimeters, which is slightly over 7 inches. We'll do some height comparisons with the other Avengers characters a bit later on. And yeah, it's pretty detailed. It's kind of what SH Figuarts are really good at with their action figures. The colors are pretty much spot on. Now in terms of the look of him, whether he looks like the Hulk we see in the movie, I'll say around 80% of it does. Let's take a closer look at the face sculpt, which is probably the most important part of Bruce Banner. So it's the first time we see him merging himself with the Hulk, so he's sort of like a half human, half Hulk. So that is why it's pretty important that they get the face sculpts correct now. And I wouldn't say it's the best one. I mean, it does look like the actor Mark Ruffalo, but it could be better. In terms of the quantum suit, I don't have too much complaints about it. It is a hard plastic and the colors are pretty detailed. I think they've got them pretty correct. And in terms of the size, of course, we're going to see if it does scale up with the other characters later on. So yeah, this is pretty much the Hulk figure, very simple. And now we can test out the articulation. So SH Figuarts are pretty much well known for its articulation, so I don't expect much different for the Hulk action figure. So let's first test out the head, and we're going to try and spin it all the way around. And it actually pops off pretty easily. Let's try that again. So it's turning all the way around, and again it comes off. It's because the peg is pretty short. And if we look at the bottom of the head sculpt, the hole and the gap, there's actually not much space in between. So that's probably why it comes off pretty easily. And if you take a look from the side, the back of the neck is much taller than the front. So that is why when you turn the head, it actually pops off. So you're not actually going to get any 360 spin, which is kind of surprising. Only side to side movement like this, and the neck does actually move with it slightly. I mean, you don't really need to spin the head all the way around, but you sometimes just prefer when you have more smoothness to the articulation. And of course it is on a pivot, so it can be moved side to side. It can go upwards this much and downwards like this, which is pretty nice, giving him that sad expression. And then for the arms, they can be stretched wide. And then if we bring it back down, we can push it forwards and upwards, and it actually goes all the way around. So that should work on both sides of the arm. And then if you somehow shift out the arms, there's two shoulder pads that come out. So it gives him that flexibility to push the arms together. And one of the hands actually come off. So just going to put that back in. So it is quite stiff in terms of the articulation so far. I mean, you don't want to move it too strongly in case you break the parts off. So you're going to have to just do it carefully. As for the bottom half of the arm, there's not much spin to it. You can actually rotate the whole arm like this, but the bottom half only bends, so like that. And then for the hand, there is a 360 spin, and it can go outwards and inwards as well, and again it pops off. So far I'm not too impressed with the articulation. It's probably such a big figure, so the pieces do actually come loose pretty easily. So yeah, gonna have to test out the body as well. So you're gonna get side to side movement, not too much again. For the top half, upwards, downwards like this. And then for the bottom half of the body, it goes all the way around if you somehow manage to do that. But then it sort of creates a gap at the back once you do that. So you're going to have to push the figure back in. So it goes upwards this much. And then the crunch downwards this much. And then again it creates the gap at the back from the body to the lower half. So you're going to have to shift it back in if you want to do that. So this is actually more difficult than I expected, probably because it's such a big figure, so the pieces are not joint as smooth as the smaller figures. So we're going to test out the leg now, and it goes forwards this much and backwards this much because there's the plastic part that's blocking it. So you're going to have to rotate the leg sideways like this to get it to move forwards. So it can't just be pushed forward like this because of course there's plastic parts to it. And then it does actually rotate all the way around. As you can see, there's a part at the top and then separated into the top half and the lower part of the leg, and then of course the foot. So you can rotate the leg inwards or outwards, so it actually does have like a 360 spin. Or the bottom half of the leg can be bent like this, and then for the foot there's a 360 spin for that. The toes go up and they also go downwards. There's a pivot, so it does go side to side. So yeah, that's the overall articulation of the figure. It's much more difficult than I expected. It is pretty stiff and some joints are not as smooth as the ones like the previous line. So in terms of the articulation, I wouldn't give it that many points. I mean, once you put it in the right pose, I think it will look cool, but yeah, it's pretty hard to do the articulation. So here are the alternate accessories attached onto the figure. For the hands, we have the open palms, and for the face sculpt, it's just the eyes looking to the side. So if we take a closer look at the head sculpt, it is pretty simple, very similar to the original one, just with the eyes looking to the side, and I must say I'm a bit disappointed. It is kind of a bit lazy to me. SH Figuarts have done this for the Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye figure. It's just eyes looking to the side, so there's not much alternate expression here. For Incredible Hulk, they could have given us like a more angry face when he's roaring. I know we didn't see too much of that in the film. Or they could have even given us like a smiling one like we do in the film, because of course now he is a more calm person, a professor. And even just one with a pair of glasses even, that would have really changed things up. So the alternate head sculpt is actually not much difference here, so not too much to comment on. But in terms of the face sculpt, it is pretty decent. It does bypass as the Bruce Banner Mark Ruffalo look. They've gone for a highly detailed hairstyle, and if we take a closer look, you can actually see the stubble beard on his face, which of course we saw in the movie. So now we can put Hulk side by side with some of its fellow members of the Avengers. Next to Black Widow, the SH Figuarts Endgame line. Next to Captain America, the SH Figuarts Endgame line. Next to the Iron Man Mark 85 SH Figuarts Endgame line. Next to Hawkeye, the SH Figuarts Endgame line. And here he is next to Thanos, the SH Figuarts Endgame line. And in case you want to put him side by side with some of your other action figures, here it is next to the Captain America Marvel Legends Endgame line. And here are all the original members of the Avengers team in the SH Figuarts Endgame line. Of course, we're now just waiting for Thor. So that was just a quick look at the SH Figuarts Hulk from the Avengers Endgame line. And I must say I'm half and half with this action figure. I do like the overall sculpt, the look, the quantum suit, the colouring, the detail, and of course the face sculpt somewhat resembles Bruce Banner Mark Ruffalo like we saw in the movie. However, in terms of the articulation, I thought it was a bit stiff and lacked that smoothness to it. As for the accessories, it was quite limited, only 2 open palm hands, and the pointless head sculpt, which was the eyes looking to the side, which of course we saw in the previous figures with Black Widow, Captain America and Hawkeye. But I think for a character like Hulk, they really needed a different head sculpt, like a more aggressive face. I know we didn't really see that in the Endgame movie or even in the final battle. Maybe they could have added a smiling Professor Hulk, or the one with the glasses, which was very iconic. As for bonuses, they could have given us that gauntlet as the accessory. I think if they did that, that would have really boosted and caught the attention of many action figure fans and really made this a exclusive SH Figuarts Hulk. But now that they've only seen the figure with the quantum suit, maybe they'll hold back and wait for future versions like a Marvel Legends if they happen to make one. But overall, I'm pleased with picking up this figure because it does assemble my original Avengers team together. So now we're just waiting for the Thor figure, which is out in January 2020. So just in case you missed it, I did a review for the SH Figuarts Endgame Hawkeye, so you can check the links in the description below. And I also put the links for the Iron Man's, the Captain America and Black Widow one as well. So I think that's about it for today. Please like this video, subscribe, it kind of encourages me to do more videos. Of course, I also do a lot of toy hunts, as I am currently editing the Tokyo, Japan ones, where I do a lot of toy hunts and see a lot of Marvel figures. So thanks for watching everyone, and see you next time.